All right, y'all. So tonight we're going to get into permissible purpose. What is permissible purpose? And what are the main reasons why any creditors and furnishers should pull your consumer report? This law is specifically under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, 15 USC 1681B, permissible purposes of consumer reports. And I'm actually going to just go over this law in very particular, mainly because I want you guys to really understand the importance of this section. So we're going to have a teachable moment right now. Again, this is under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Section 15 USC 1681B, permissible purposes of consumer reports. A, in general, subject to subsection C, any consumer reporting agency may furnish a consumer report under the following circumstances and no other. Under the following circumstances and no other. One, in response to the order of a court having jurisdiction to issue such an order to a subpoena issued in connection with proceedings before a federal grand jury, or a subpoena issued in accordance with Section 5318 of Title 31 or Section 3486 of Title 18. Two, in accordance with the written instructions of the consumer to whom it relates. Who is the consumer? That will be us. That will be me. That will be you. We are the consumer. Okay. So we know you have to have a subpoena issue for court appearances, which normally typically happens sometimes in child support cases. Two, in according with written instructions of the consumer to whom it relates. So that means that we would have to write specifically and give these creditors or furnishers written instructions about from us to whom it relates. So if that's my consumer report that you want to furnish, I need to give you permission. Okay, you need to have permission from me to pull my consumer report. Just don't go put in my consumer report and then you don't have my permission. Which is when sometimes if you all read some of the fine print, it will say that you give written instructions. For allow that lender or that financial institution to pull a copy of your consumer report. That's why it states that. But written instructions of whom the consumer to whom it of the consumer to whom it relates actually means that we're going to physically write, giving them permission to pull our consumer reports. All right. 3, to a person. To a person which it has reason to believe A, intends to use the information in connection with a credit transaction involving the consumer on whom the information is to be furnished and involving the extension of credit to review or collection of an account of the consumer, or B, intends to use the information for employment purposes or intends to use the information in connection with the underwriting of insurance involving the consumer, or D, intends to use information in connection with a determination of the consumer's eligibility for a license or other benefit granted by a governmental instrumentality required by a law to consider an applicant's financial responsibility or status, or E, intends to use the information as a potential investor or servicer or current insurer in connection with a valuation of or an assessment of the credit or prepayment risk associated with an extension credit obligation, or F. I want y'all to really pay attention to F. Okay, please really pay attention to F. F, otherwise has a legitimate business transaction that is initiated by the consumer, or 2, to review an account to determine whether the consumer continues to meet the terms of the account. G, executive departments and agencies in connection with the insurance of government-sponsored individually billed travel charge cards. Guys, this section is specifically telling us the only reasons why creditors or furnishers, lenders, financial institutions, whomever these people are that pulls your consumer report, the only reason why, no other reasons except for these specific reasons to be pulling our consumer reports. Now, y'all think about it. Let's use these dealerships as the example because they be doing their business. Let's say we went to Honda. I don't know about Honda, it just came to my mind. Let's say you went to Honda. All right, you seen a nice car out there on the lot with Honda. You pull into the car lot, you walking around, you go in there, you say, hey, I would like to purchase this Honda. All right, they say, all right, come on. Let's take you on in. Let's get you a credit application and let's see what we can do for you. Let's see what if we can get you in this car today. So y'all go in there, y'all fill out this credit application. You write down all your personal information, your name, date of birth, social security number. They didn't really not only did they only run your consumer report or pull your consumer report for their financial institution, but they also automatically sent your information to 10 other lenders to try to get you approved. Now ask yourself this. Did they ask y'all for your permission to send your personal information to these other 10 lenders? Or did they just voluntarily do it? Now, with that being said, if you think about this section that we just went over at this teachable moment, where inside this section did it say that your information can just be sent automatically over, just because they trying to get you into a car? They're trying to get you some financing. Nowhere in this section that it states that. It says that you, the consumer, me, we definitely, for one, have to have or give them written instructions, okay? Permission to pull our consumer report. All right. It says that they only can do it to use your information only for employment purposes, which at this moment, we're not talking about employment purposes because we're trying to get a vehicle at this moment. And then it also says to use your information for insurance, right? And then F, remember I told y'all to pay attention to F. It says otherwise has a legitimate business need for the information in connection with a business transaction that is initiated by the consumer. Now, again, did they ask you to send your information over to these other 10 lenders? They didn't send your, I almost cursed. They didn't send your dang on social security number over to these other lenders and just sharing your information without your permission. Now, is that even legal? Is it right? Think about it. I want y'all on your own to really study this section, okay? Really study this section and pay attention to what these creditors do. Again, they do this type of stuff because they know I'm saying we as people, because they know we don't read and they think that we do not know these laws and that we're not paying attention. But guess what? People like myself, we definitely reading. We getting to know these laws, and we're going to make sure that they're going to be in compliance with these laws. So this is the section that I want you guys to use to remove any inquiries that you all have on your consumer reports that you did not fill out any credit application, that you did not step into that financial institution or you did not go directly to that dealership to fill out a credit application and give them permission to pull your consumer report. I want you to use this to get rid of these inquiries that's not tied to any accounts that you don't even have on your consumer report. You got 25 inquiries and you got one credit card account, one car loan, and one personal loan. But you got 20 inquiries. These inquiries are not even attached to none of those accounts. Why are they on your consumer report? Because those 20 inquiries come from that one dealership when you went to go get that car, and they just automatically sent your personal business over to that lender to try to get you financed or a better deal without your permission. No, we ain't doing that. It specifically states that for one, they definitely have to have your permission to send your information over. All right, y'all, we're gonna dig into one more law. Tonight I came in to speak about just permissible purpose only, but just thinking about that, I want y'all to remember they automatically sent your personal information over and used your information without your permission. I'm gonna pull up another law. One second, y'all, I'm almost there. My computer moving a little slow, y'all. Give me 1 second. All right. So another law that I want y'all to use when you are building your letter to remove these inquiries. This would be 18 USC 1028A, aggravated identity theft. Okay, now y'all listen to this. Now we already discovered at these dealerships, they automatically sending our information over, our personal information over, without even informing us or asking us to send our information over. All right, because we already going to Honda, so we know Honda gonna pull our consumer report. So we already aware of that. We know that's going to happen, but we ain't asked Alley Financial and all those other financial institutions to pull our report because we ain't trying to get nothing from them. Capital One is another one. But y'all think about this, all right? It's 18 USC code 1028A, aggravated identity theft. And I'm going to read this directly to y'all, all right? A offense is one. Whoever during and in relation to any felony violation enumerated in subsection C knowingly transfers, possesses, uses without lawful authority a means of identification of another person shall, in addition to the punishment provided for such felony, be sentenced to a term of imprisonment of 2 years. I'm gonna let that sink in for a little bit. Knowingly transfers, possesses, or uses without lawful authority a means of identification of another person. Now, we just established that these dealerships are automatically sending over our personal information without our permission to other lenders. That sounds like aggravated identity theft to me. Because then you just transfer my information. I mean, you just sent my stuff over. First of all, I gave you my information. So you have possession of my information, okay? Then you transfer my information to 10 other lenders without even getting my permission. And then they use my information to pull my consumer report. Yeah, that's aggravated identity theft sound like to me. So when you're building your letters to use, I'm sorry, not to use, but to remove these inquiries, you can use 15 USC 1681B, permissible purpose. And you can use this law. And both of these laws are under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. 18 USC Code 1028A, aggravated identity theft. Make sure that you all also use case laws when you're building your letters, okay? Because that actually shows them and makes them be in compliance, and also helps them remove it quicker. All right. Or if you someone that doesn't have time to build your letter, call Equifax, call TransUnion, call Experian. Yeah, I want to speak to the fraud department. Now we ain't saying this stuff ain't fraud. And they ask y'all, do you want to place a fraud alert on your consumer report? No, you do not. You're specifically calling because you got 10 inquiries that you don't even recognize on your consumer reports, and you don't even have no accounts associated with these inquiries. So you need them to be removed. That's what you're going to tell them. Okay. And they're going to ask you, well, are these fraud related? No, ma'am, I didn't say anything in regards to fraud. I said I do not recognize these inquiries, and I do not have any accounts that's associated with these inquiries, and they need to be deleted. Y'all, I have had 30 inquiries deleted, 15 inquiry deleted. I mean, I ran across some stuff. I had lots of inquiries deleted. Okay, I had a whole page or two full of inquiries. Like, good God Almighty! But that's one thing, y'all. That's one thing. When you don't have credit, or if you did have credit and you damaged your consumer report so bad to where you can't get nothing, the first 2 or 3 times that you keep pulling your report and you're getting completely denied, stop pulling your report. Stop pulling it. Change your mindset. Change your strategy. Pull your consumer reports. Get your highlighter. Get your pen. Go through your consumer report. All right? Go through your consumer report. You want to highlight, circle, place a little stars, asterisk about the accounts that you need to correct. And let's go ahead to get those accounts removed so we can build you a better credit profile so that lenders will not consider you as risky and keep denying you for credit. All right? Because that's the reason why you're consistently getting denied. But that's it for tonight, y'all. Use these laws to remove your inquiries that are not associated with any accounts. Again, this is laws under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. The first law for permissible purpose is 15 USC 1681B. That second law is 18 USC 1028A. Let's get these inquiries removed, y'all. Stop letting these people play with y'all. Y'all have a good night.